You see what I'm holding, guys? This is a chill pill. It actually says chill pill.
Can I put it in my mouth?
No, you probably shouldn't. It's made of foam.
Oh, it's not real.
But yeah, it's not a real chill pill. Okay. But it says chill pill on it. If we had more high-tech cameras, we could zoom in right here. If producer Zach was here, maybe we could zoom in a little bit. No shots of producer Zach, but chill. This is a chill pill.
Where's
right
producer
here.
Lauren?
And I think a lot of people. No, she's out. She's out there. I think a lot of people in the NFL can use a chill pill, but maybe most importantly, our largest fan base, our largest viewing base, the Green Bay Packers fans, after their loss to the Lions yesterday, it wasn't pretty. I mean, the game itself was ugly conditions. Packers fans were not happy to be sitting in the rain watching their team get crushed basically the entire way through. But the reactions that I've seen from Green Bay fans is a little surprising to me, actually. I know they're frustrated, and they very well should be. It was a bad game, and it was a really big game. But mostly it's around the reception to Jordan Love playing in this game. And we've said on this show for quite a few weeks, Jordan Love needs to clean it up. The interceptions, the carelessness, there's a difference between being aggressive and being careless with the football. And we were saying Jordan Love has been a little careless this year. Whereas last year when he was hot, he was aggressive, but he was making all the throws. And he generally was putting it in spots where it was his receiver or no one could make a play. But right now, a lot of turnovers, 10 turnovers or interceptions leads the league. He's only played 6.5 games. He's tied with Geno, who's played 9. He's played 6.5. It's been an ugly year for Jordan, while there's still been fireworks on the offensive side of the ball as well. But this was a weird spot to me where we've kind of said this and it got a little bit of backlash from people. Some Packers fans said, hey, we see that too. We appreciate you pointing it out. A lot of other ones were saying, come on, guys, he's leading the league in touchdowns at, through 5 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it was. Get a life. And now this is the game though where all of a sudden it seems everyone's turned on him and saying like, oh, this is a problem. Like we should have started Malik. Malik's the guy. Malik should be the guy when he gets back until Jordan can get this under control. But this is the game where he was hurt, right? Like he's playing with a groin injury. I thought it was kind of an admirable effort to go against the best team in football. He clearly was hobbled the whole game. It was just a little bizarre to me that this was the spot where people decided, we're abandoning ship. When it's been a problem all year, and 2, he was playing through injury.
Well, that's what happens though when you lose a game at home in the NFL by
20 points,
20 points to a division rival.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a week by week reaction. That's what's going to happen. Do we know how injured he really was? Like at what point?
You could see it when he was running out there. He did not look like he was throwing fine, but the mobility wasn't there, and that clearly got to him.
He said after the game he was fine, but literally at the half, Matt LaFleur said, Jordan can't move. He was like, Jordan can't move. When we feel he can't protect himself, we'll take him out. And I actually tweeted out, I said, isn't that kind of weird? Like how comfortable are you someone can protect themselves when you're also acknowledging they can't move?
I mean, I was going to say at what point do the injuries not become an excuse?
No, he was definitely.
But
hurt. He was definitely.
But I mean, I guess if you don't play him.
Well, you were on the Malik train.
I totally agree.
I was on the Malik train. I just wouldn't have played him. This
whole game was just a baffling game plan from LaFleur. He's the one I put the blame on most of all. Right, heavy rain, bad weather. What you need is a quarterback who can play under center and a team that can run the ball. That's what Malik Willis does best. And we saw Josh Jacobs was able to get it going. And we saw the Lions, Jared Goff didn't attempt a single pass of 20 or more yards. Jordan Love tried 7. Jared Goff only did 3 passes of 10 or more yards. He took almost all his snaps under center. But because Jordan Love wasn't mobile, he wasn't able to get under center. They had to go for these really deep pass plays. Instead, you could have brought out Malik Willis, who's great against man-heavy looks, exactly what the Lions are doing, who's shown he can operate a run game. And this is not me saying Malik Willis is better. This is me saying that Malik Willis is better in terrible weather compared to a quarterback who can't move and can't take a snap under center.
He's better in terrible weather with a functioning groin.
I mean, yeah, especially too in those types of conditions where you don't have to launch the ball down the field and get those chunk plays to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like that wasn't going to work anyway. So when you're more than probably 50% hurt, which is what he looked, and not himself, I don't get why he's out there in a game against the best team in football.
Well, we were talking before the show about if there were different categories for, there are 3 possibilities for the Packers in the game. If you had to rank them in terms of how they could beat Detroit, it was you play Love and he winds up being less injured than expected was number 1. 2 was playing Malik. And 3, was Love goes out there, but he can't, he just can't, he's not himself. And that's the version you got. And that version was never, ever going to win.
And that's why I brought up, though, if when we stop making that an excuse, because if he was playing in that game, one would think that he was good to go. But I guess not.
Jordan Love, the kind of guy he is, you can just tell if he's capable, if his arm is capable of throwing the ball, he's going to want to be out there.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean, I completely agree with you, Ziggy. I don't know how much of it was LaFleur's plays versus Jordan Love being aggressive. But when you're just chucking the ball, you were talking about the downpour and we were kind of doubting it on the preview show. Then you're watching the game and it's like a monsoon in Green Bay. And they're just hucking it all over the place. I mean, there were a couple times where maybe they should have actually completed those passes, but it was still bizarre. And everything went wrong for the Packers. And that's kind of part of the problem they've had this year. I was doing a little bit of a deeper dive today into the issues they've been having on this year. And they're like 9th worst in penalties. They have the 8th worst numbers in terms of false starts on the season, 4th worst in holding calls, 3rd worst in offsides. Like they've been pretty sloppy. Now they're still 6-3. So that's something that everybody can kind of, that's why I have the chill pill right here. You're 6-3, you're making all these mistakes. You can still button this up and be in a very good spot.
Got the bye coming up.
You have the bye, get right. And again, we said, who better for them to play than the Chicago Bears coming out of the bye? But even drops, like 9.8% of Jordan Love passes, that's his drop percentage this year. The only quarterbacks with the worst drop percentage are Deshaun Watson and Daniel Jones. Like everyone's just playing a little sloppy football in Green Bay. And if they're going to have any chance of beating Detroit or beating Philly, whoever it might be at the top of the NFC, they need that all to be fixed coming out of the bye.
Well, I like what Tucker Kraft had to say about it. He was asked in the locker room right after this game what needs to change for the Packers. And he said there's two things. First, they've got to get rested up and get healthy. And the second thing he said, and I think this goes to your point about coaching and styles, he said the demeanor of this team really needs to change. They need to get tougher. They need to focus on playing smash mouth football. Not necessarily completely changing the scheme, but just being a physically tough team. Because in this NFC, against the healthy 49ers, against the Lions, against even the Minnesota Vikings, you've got to be able to play tough physical football at the line and run the ball. And we just haven't been able to see that consistently from the Packers.
And this could also be a product of being such a young team and having these expectations coming into the year. I mean, you have to play the games. We were all just assuming the entire offseason, we're going to slot Green Bay up here as one of the top teams. Jordan Love will be back doing this thing, blah, 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 blah.
I said I wanted to see it.
But yeah.
Maybe that's just because I am a fucking fan.
But we just can't expect that to be a carbon copy of what it was the last 10 games of last year. They got to go out there and show it. And again, they are 6-3. So I'm not like trying to downplay at all. But they haven't looked. They're not up to snuff.
Well, that's the important. That's one of the important lessons that you could have with football. I mean, we take this approach with our podcast. We have some weeks that are really, really good. Ziggy's very good at keeping us in check. There are some weeks where we have great numbers, and we're like, all right, how are we not at 50,000 subscribers now? And then there's weeks where we'll have like 5,000 views instead of 45,000. We're going like, all right, maybe we need to readjust expectations.
Yeah, so we know what it's like to be a quarterback in the NFL is what you're saying.
What I'm saying is...
Especially in bad weather, too, when you're hurt.
Yeah, what I'm saying is there are highs and lows, and right now you're sort of in a low. And to be at a low at 6-3 is a good spot. But if you're a Packers fan, there's been so many... For Jordan Love specifically, everyone's kind of comparing him to Rodgers and Favre naturally as the successor to those guys in Green Bay. But that's got to stop. Because one, Aaron Rodgers... never turned the ball over, 4-time MVP. Amazing. Brett Favre, people are saying the gunslinger, like, oh, Jordan Love's more like Brett Favre this year. Brett Favre won 3 straight MVPs, went to back-to-back Super Bowls. Like, Jordan Love is figuring it out. He's still relatively early in his career, but he needs to, it's not the physical side with Jordan Love, although the injuries aren't helping. He's got to get back to that mental side we saw at the second half of the year. Like, to your point, Ziggy, the mentality in Green Bay needs to shift. It needs to get back to that. They were locked in the second half of last season. And Love, everything he did felt locked in. Like he was not making mistakes. So I don't know what he needs to do to figure that out. Maybe LaFleur just needs to ease him back into things a little more. But you need the mental side of Jordan Love to come around, or else they're in a lot of trouble. Like, frankly.
I mean, prime Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau Field in a rain game like this against the Lions comes out and throws like 380 yards and 4 touchdowns.
This is a good Lions team, though. Like those were
That's
against bad Lions.
This is a great line.
Those were against bad Lions. Teams.
This is a great line.
There was one other like interesting statistic that I saw is for Love this year. I believe he has 10 interceptions. PFF has him charted for 10 turnover-worthy plays on the season. So, it's a little murky as to what actually counts as a turnover-worthy play, especially when it comes to fumbles too, they were saying. But he's at 100% of his turnover-worthy plays result in turnovers. Like that is higher than expected. You can't have the turnover plays that he's had this year, but that could regress a bit too. Like I'm not out on Jordan Love. That's why I don't understand. Packers fans can't be out on their guy after signing him to $55 million a year. Like this is your guy. Support him. And he'll probably figure it out in December. But the hate the Jordan Love, like it wasn't hate, but the Jordan Love disappointment was getting a little out of control yesterday.
And it's frustrating to lose lines like that. But they're off the bye week. They'll light up the Bears. All will be well. That's what's going to happen.
I can't believe I'm out here defending Jordan Love.
He'll light up the Bears. All will be well.
Yeah, but I understand why you're doing it. You had a rough start to the season, but it's still easy to forget, right? I know they signed into the mega deal, like expectations are high, but this is his second season starting in the NFL. It's the first half of his second season starting in the NFL. And the team's in a position where they absolutely should make the playoffs. So I'm interested to see whether Jordan Love, maybe not the same level, but can recapture some of that second half of the season magic they had from last year as they're now turning the corner after this bye and entering into the second half of the season. We'll see how it goes.
I mean, a couple of weeks ago, they were 5-2. Everyone was on top of the world. Every single big media person was saying that this guy's top 5 quarterback in the league. He injures his groin writhing on the ground in pain. And a week and a half later, it's like, yep, maybe Malik should have a shot.
Like, hey,
what are you get out of this contract?
Losing,
it's like it's Jack up there.
Losing does things.
No, losing does
stink.
Insane how winning can cure everything.
Yeah, losing does things.
Like they lost to the best team in football.
Oh, I know. But losing.
Remember what Lions fans were saying, or Packers fans were saying to us when we lost to Detroit, and I was like, I was beside myself, angry. They're like, dude, you lost to the best team in the league. Like, relax. I'm saying relax. You lost to the best team in the league with your quarterback hobbling.
It's easy to tell another fan.
Oh, it's very easy.
Exactly.
It is.